A very good afternoon to all of you. Today we have the fourth session for quantitative reasoning, that is arithmetic, and our trainer for it is Mr. Delvin Marcos. Moving ahead to the instructions for you all, make sure you have a stable internet connection and a noise-free environment, for which we recommend you to use your earphones for the best experience. Also, respect your instructor, your classmates, and yourself. Be respectful and professional and do not write anything inappropriate in the chat box. Moving ahead, we have these three memberships at Ubergrad, that is bronze, silver, and gold, with some additional features as displayed on the screen. So for getting yourselves upgraded to any of these three, you can directly go on the website of Ubergrad and get yourselves upgraded there. Also, I'll be sharing a coupon code with you guys in the chat box, using which you can upgrade yourself from basic to bronze membership, which would give you extra benefits like 4-week IELTS course, 1 AI evaluated IELTS mock, usual university recommendations, free profile evaluation, and counselor support. So moving ahead, we also have free profile evaluation at Ubergrad, which is done by our experts, which consists of university shortlisting, course recommendations, country recommendations, which are made according to a student's academic profile, course of study, future aspirations, academic strengths, and requirements. We also have recommendations report customized for the student according to their requirements and profile. And we also have doubt clearance regarding the study abroad process, which consists of shortlisting applications, scholarships, etc. So moving ahead, we have these free live classes which goes on at Ubergrad every week. So firstly, we have free Duolingo live classes, which goes on from Monday to Friday, 6:30 to 7:30. We have live PTE classes, which is from Monday to Friday, 6:30 to 7:30, with weekly sessional tests. And it's a 4-week course with listening, reading, writing, and speaking sessions. Moreover, we also have free GRE live classes, which goes on from Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 9:30. It's a 2-month course. So for getting yourselves enrolled for any of these three, you can directly go on the website of Ubergrad and get yourselves enrolled there. Moving ahead, you also have one-on-one IELTS classes feature, which is when you upgrade yourself to the gold membership, and it's just for rupees 5,999, and you get benefits like 20 hours live classes, class recordings, daily class worksheets, 10 plus sessional tests, 5 full-length mock tests. So it's a very good opportunity for you all. If you want to avail more mock tests for your practice, you can always go for the one-on-one IELTS classes, which is just for rupees 5,999. So moving ahead, these are some of the achievements of the students who got themselves enrolled at Ubergrad. Now I'll quickly show you the website of Ubergrad. So this is the website of Ubergrad. Over here, you can explore a lot of information related to various countries, universities, courses, and examinations. Moreover, we also have free profile evaluation. So under free profile evaluation, I'll just show it to you how it is done. So it is done using our experts. So the experts are always there to give an evaluation of your profile. So you can always avail this facility as well and book your slots according to your preferred date and time. Moreover, we also have talk to a counselor option, AI country recommendations, AI course recommendations, test preparation stores consisting of live IELTS, live GRE, live Duolingo classes, and also live PTE classes, and some additional services for the students consisting of education loans, forex card, accommodation, international SIM, US credit card, US bank account, and blogs are also uploaded. So you can check all these out on the feature these feature out on the website of Ubergrad itself. Now, as I mentioned of the upgradation to the various memberships, you can always go to this particular option on the website and upgrade yourself to the bronze, silver, and gold. Now, I will also show you the recordings, the handouts, and the sessional tests are also available to you at Ubergrad website itself. So you can avail all these features if you have missed anything out. And lastly, I will also share a Telegram channel link with you guys in the chat box. So just join the Telegram channel over there. Also, a lot of information will be available to you on a daily basis. And also, not only this, some of the mock tests would be provided to you there itself, but for the others, for your practice, you can always avail the other facilities which I mentioned of. So now I'll hand over the session to our trainer for today, Mr. Delvin Marcos, sir. So, over to you, sir.
Saying the same thing. I think Supriya is helping you out with the link. If by chance you are not able to, you can ask our team. Okay, so have you enrolled for this course first of all? Like, maybe I'll just share my screen. Just give me a second. So, Vidya, as what Supriya showed, ideally, if you can see a course here in your My Test Preparation section, GRE Live Classes, then you should be able to see it. But by chance, if you have some technical issue, our team will get in touch with you and will get it fixed for you. Okay. Just for now, I'll continue for the class, but it will be fixed by tomorrow for sure. Just give us one more day. If it is happening by any chance for you, we'll figure out and fix that. Okay, great. Okay, guys, so I'll start the session. So actually, the trainer, Mr. Delbin, is stuck with some personal work for today. So I'll be just, a trainer for just today for you guys, and he'll be back from tomorrow, and he'll continue with percentages and applications of percentages in arithmetic tomorrow. So how are the classes going on? So I hope you can see my screen first of all. I didn't check that. Can you just confirm? I can also see in my other device.
Yes, sir. Your screen
Great.
is visible.
Great. Okay, cool. So today we're going to do the rate, time, speed, and distance. So right, as per GRE, it's more called rate and work. We're gonna get in there. So cool. So I think most of you know this basic time, speed, and distance. So we'll first discuss this, and then we're gonna jump into time and work, which is basically the rate and work in the GRE concept, right? So obviously the one and only the big formula that you need to understand is this, but I just want to reiterate a simple thing that is more useful for you to apply across the concept today. It's that speed with which I do work, right? Whatever it is, it could be speed of the object in terms of time, speed, and distance, but also try to come out of that just the movement of objects. Think from the perspective of the work also, right? Let's say I can write 5 pages in a day. My speed of writing is 5 pages per day, right? We're all used to more in the lines of kilometers per hour, meters per second. So you have to just extend this concept that it could be like I say that a baker can bake 10 cakes in an hour. So basically the speed of baking is 10 cakes per hour. So this is fundamentally an extension that we'll see in a while, but if you take rate or speed is basically the same, as in speed with which you do work, speed with which you move the object, speed with which a car moves, a human moves, right? So that speed into time taken to do a work, right, should be given. That's going to be distance in this case, as in how much you've moved, but it is also going to give us the work completed in case of the work chapter, right? So which is what we're going to discuss today. So for now, a very fundamental formula is this: speed into time is equals to distance, right? Any quant question basically, I would say, would have some formulas, and the question would give you some unknown, as in hints for you to apply some unknowns, and finally we'll have one specific unknown you need to find. Right, let's look into this question. Take like 30 seconds and give me answers. Maybe just look at this and try to solve it, but don't give me answer for at least 30 seconds. Let others take their time to do it. So I'm not sure how you've been doing so far in Delbin sir's class, but my request would be don't post the answers at least for like 45 seconds unless I ask you. So solve it, then we'll discuss this, right? So the distance between two stations is 540 kilometers, and a train takes 90 minutes to cover this distance. Calculate the speed of the train in kilometers per hour. Okay, so can we get some answers if you are done? That's not correct. Can you just check it again? That's a trap that I think everyone is falling for. Right? I'm just surprised, but I know that some percentage of people get. I think we got one right answer. Okay. See, I knew that a good chunk will fall for this trap, which is that they will do See, they've given distance, as I highlighted, distance is 540 kilometers. Takes 90 minutes. They didn't explicitly write, but you understand from the units that they have given you time. So as I said, there are three unknowns, three things in the formula. They've given you distance, they've given you time. Now they're asking you to find the speed, right? So as what the formula here shows, speed is distance by time. So far it's been good. I know people have just did this. Whoever got the wrong answer is they just did this and thought the answer is this. But that's the wrong answer. Why? Can someone help me out with it? Why this is wrong? As in whoever got it right, or if people have already realized what's the reason for it. Exactly. This is in minutes, right? And the answer is being asked to answer in kilometers per hour. So this is very, very important that I would reiterate again and again. Don't just apply the formula, but rather, so simple story, convert minutes into hours. Right? You have this distance as 540 kilometers. So time is 90 minutes. So how do I convert into hours? Divide by 60, because you know that 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes. So if I just divide by 60, I'm going to get it as 1.5 hours, or at least I will leave it as 3 by 2. So I'll skip the calculations a bit. Don't worry if you are not getting how did I get 33s or 32s or part. You can get it even after class if you just take 2 seconds more. That's it. So 1.5 hours or 3 by 2 hours. Depends on what's your comfort zone, right? Are you more comfortable with decimals or fractions? So the speed is nothing but distance by time, or 540 by 3 by 2. So which is nothing but 540 into 2 by 3. 180 is 360 is the perfect. So you'll only get it kilometers per hour when you actually convert the distance in kilometers and time in hours. So be very, very careful with the units, okay? So I'll ask a very quick question. Can you help me out in converting this into meters per second? So if the question was asking, what is the speed of the train in meters per second? So can you guys take maybe 30 more seconds and give me the answer? Right, just a simple thing that you need to understand. Kilometers per hour to meters per second. If you are not sure of how to do it, right, I'll tell you what is 1 kilometer. It's nothing but 1000 meters. Divided by power means divided by what is 1 hour, 3600 seconds. Right. So if you just divide, you'll get 205 are 218 are. So 1 kilometer per hour is nothing but 5 by 18 meters per second. That's what you need to do to convert. So 360 kilometers per hour, just replace this with this, right? 360 into 5 by 18 meters per second, right? So that's going to be 100 meters per second. Quite a few got it right, so I'm happy for that. If you need the other way around, you just have to do into 18 by 5, that is meters per second to kilometers. Great. So I guess everyone is clear. Is anyone having a doubt here? If you have, please let me know. Don't hesitate. I'll discuss anything. Otherwise, we'll move ahead. Just a confirmation from you guys that if it's good, we'll continue. Great. Right, but if any one of you is, don't worry, just ask me, right? If you hesitate, then I think no one can help you. Okay, so now we're talking about this average speed. Okay, this is another trap where I see quite a few students do a mistake. So maybe I'll just take a simple question first. Just give me a second. Just for me to reiterate on what I want to discuss. So let's take an empty slide just for the discussion. So let's say I ask you a question, okay? I'll put it very simply that let's say a car travels at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour for 30 minutes and 40 kilometers per hour for next 1 hour. What is the average speed of the car? Let's say this is what the question is, right? I'll just repeat again. A car travels at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour for first 30 minutes, right? And then it just picks it up and starts moving at 40 kilometers per hour for next 1 hour. Now, what is the average speed of this car for the entire journey? This is the question. So take a minute and let me know the answers. I'll again tell you when you can post the answers. Meanwhile, please do it. Bear with my handwriting. So we'll just stick with it for a while. Otherwise, we'll have more or less the prints for everything else. I just read it out. Car traveling at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour for first 30 minutes, and then picks it up to 40 kilometers per hour for next 1 hour. What is the average speed of the car? Give it in kilometers per hour. So give it in kilometers per hour. And I'm not sure what the answer would be, but it won't be maybe possibly in integer. So don't worry. Just give us an approximate decimal or fraction that should be fine. Don't worry on the decimal value precision. Do you have answers? It's going to be decimal, I know that, but if anyone has answers, you can start posting. That's too less. So I mean, if the slowest speed is 20 and the highest speed is 40, the average speed should be between 20 to 40. That's a basic rule. It can't be more than 40, it can't be less than 20. That's a basic rule. If as I'm telling you, the average between two values should lie between the two values, and it can't be less than the minimum and more than the maximum. Anyone else with answers? Think. Let me just calculate it once. So see, I'm getting the other answer, so I'll repeat it again. Okay, a basic rule that I don't want anyone to make a mistake in. If a car is traveling at a lower speed of 20 kilometers per hour for some time, and then it has increased its speed to 40 kilometers per hour, as I'm telling you, the average should be between 20 to 40 for the entire journey. It can't be less than 20. It can't be 20 also, and it can't be 40 and above also. It must be like 21, 20 point something to 39 point something. So by chance you did some formula, you got it wrong, just realize that 40 can't be the answer, or 20 can't be answer, less than 20 can't be answer, right? So how do I do it? See, the formula is this. Average speed is nothing but total distance covered by total time taken. I don't want people to assume the average should be simple average of 20 plus 40 by 2, which is equals to 30. This is absolutely wrong. Right? I did not get anyone answering that. So that is good in a way. But I don't know how people got 52.4s or some other answers. Maybe just the calculation mistake, or you did some conceptual mistake. So just listen out and then just check it again. So as I'm telling you, the formula is what is the average speed? The total distance of the journey by total time. So let's first do the total time, because that's very simple. What is the total time of the journey? Can someone help me out with this? What is the total time of the journey? Because it's two parts, right? Perfect. So again, be careful with this 30 minutes thing. Okay, this is minutes. That means it must be 1 by 2 hours. Maintain the consistency. Can't use minutes and seconds for kilometers per hour. Okay. So first part of the journey was half hour, plus the second journey was for 1 hour. So that's basically 3 by 2. If I do fraction, or will be 1.5 hours. Perfect. Right. Now I got the total time. Now how do I get the total distance? So what is the distance for part 1 plus distance for part 2 is what you need to do. What is the distance for part 2? Part 1, sorry. That's nothing but speed into time, right? So I know that 20 kilometers per hour is the speed for part 1. And what is the time? It's 1 by 2. So what is 20 into 1 by 2? How much is the distance for part 1? Tell me the answer. What's the distance covered for the part 1? 20 kilometers per hour for 30 minutes. I did it. I'm not getting answers from you guys. Come on. Yeah, it's basically 10 kilometers. Perfect. Similarly for part 2, now you tell me what's the answer for part 2? Speed is this and this is the time, right? For part 2. So 40 kilometers per hour into 1 hour is 40 kilometers. So this is nothing but 10 plus 40, it's totally 50 kilometers. So the car traveled for 50 kilometers in 1.5 hours. So this should be my average speed, which will come to be 33.33. Right. Perfect. No worries. As long as you got the concept, I'm happy. But don't make these mistakes in the actual exams. That's the thing. The ultimate thing, you can make infinite mistakes in classes or practice, not a problem. But in the exam, don't make even a simple mistake for everyone. Right, great. So I hope everyone is clear. So let's try this question now. Then apply this formula. A car has to travel from New York to Chicago at an average speed of 40 miles per hour and return immediately along the same route at an average speed of 60 miles per hour. What is the average speed in miles per hour for the round trip? So round trip is like I go from New York to Chicago and then I'm coming back. So I'm traveling back and forth. So now you do it and let me know the answer. Right, I'll wait for a minute or two. I'll let you know when you can post the answers and then we can discuss. I really hope you did not do 40 plus 60 by 2 because the answer can't be 50 at least from my basic eye check. Same, do this first. You don't know the distance, right? In this question, that's the challenge. So you know only speed in both the directions. So I went from New York to Chicago. Just for the sake of ease of calculation, I'll give you a hint. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm giving you this hint later. Let's assume the distance between New York and Chicago is 240 kilometers. Right. I'm just adding this information. Try to use this information. I'll tell you how I arrived at this 240 kilometers later. Let's take that the distance between New York and Chicago, obviously the other way around from Chicago to New York as well, will be 240 kilometers. Now I know the distance, I know the speeds, find the times for each journey to and fro. Now apply the formula and give me the answer. No one has given me the right answer this time. I'm a bit disappointed, but yeah, now I'm getting the right answers, feeling happy. Right, so now I'll do it So if the distance is 240 kilometers from New York to Chicago, right? Let's first do this from New York to Chicago, and then I'll do Chicago to New York. Okay. So you have the distance, which is 240 kilometers. I've already given you a value. Why exactly 240? I'll come there. Don't worry about it for now if that's daunting you. Uh, okay. Then the time. We don't know the time. Let's write speed. What is the speed? 40 miles per. Sorry, 240 kilometers is my bad. Sorry, the question is in miles. So ignore that mistake from my side. Hope you didn't try to convert the kilometers and miles. Right. The time. So what's the time? If the distance is 240 miles and a car is moving at 40 miles per hour, so how much time will it take? Can you give me the answer? Distance is 240 miles, the speed is 40 miles per hour. What's the time it takes to complete this journey? Thank you. 240 by 40, right? Distance by speed is time, so that's 6 hours. Similarly, from Chicago to New York, so same 240 miles, but the speed is this time 60 miles per hour. How much time I need? 4 hours. Perfect. Now, what is the total distance of the journey? 240 plus 240 is 480 miles. And what's the total time of the journey? 6 hours plus 4 hours. The car traveled for 10 hours. So the average speed is total distance by total time, which is per hour. Right? Yes, as what I think suggested, if I'm not wrong, she said to use a variable d because I don't know the distance between New York to Chicago as per the question. So I can take an arbitrary value d. So then the time will be distance by speed, which is d by 40, and this will be d by 60. I'll add this fraction, so then I will be getting 100 d by 240. Sorry, d by 24 will be my fraction, and this will be d plus d 2d. So instead of using numbers, if I use a variable approach because I don't know the distance as per the question, I'll get this. The total distance is 2d. The total time is d by 24. I do the same formula, 2d by d by 24 is going to give me same answer. Right, but maybe not everyone is very comfortable with this variable approach, right? So I generally would suggest you to go with this number because d anyways is going to get cancelled. So it doesn't matter if I take d as 240 or 2 or 20 or 100 or my lucky number, whatever it is. Right, you'll still get the same answer. You take 240, 10, 100, 3, 1, doesn't matter. You'll still get the same answer. But now, why should I take 240? Because 240 is divisible by 40 and 60. That makes it easy for me to find the time in integers and easy to calculate. That's why I did this. Right. Again, I'm telling you, why did I assume distance to be 240 miles, not anything else? LCM is one way to look at it also. You could also take 120, 40, 60, LCM is 120. But I just took 46 or 240, just something arbitrary, which is easily divisible, with both 60 and 40, so that the time will be a perfect integer for me and it's easy for me to calculate. Right? So as I said, use a variable if you like to do it, or take it arbitrary value because you need to realize the distance is going to get cancelled. That's why you are getting some numbers in options. That's a hint that you have. Good. Is everyone clear with this? The average speed? Great. Okay. Thank you. So let's do a couple of questions. Right. We'll quickly do this. Then we'll move to the time and work. I think that's the next, right? Yeah. So take like maybe 3 to 4 minutes. Try to solve these two questions. Then we'll discuss it quickly and then we'll move ahead. See, just look at this, that there is 30 kilometers per hour and 120 kilometers per hour, right? Then total time is 5 hours. Even if I travel at 120 kilometers per hour for 5 hours, it is 600 kilometers only. It can't be like more than that. So just check that. Right, so sort of you guys should have that spidey sense, right? Like the Spider-Man has that power, if you guys are aware of that. So he can detect a danger a few seconds ahead. So you should also be able to actually detect the issues with the answers. So always when you get an answer, make sure you pause for like 5-10 seconds and see if it makes sense. I'm just saying in general, because that can help you avoid the silly mistakes you would do in actual exam. That's a good discipline to build. Because most of you got the first one right, I can see it, but not everyone is getting the second one. Only very, very few answers for second question are correct. I think I'll just be clear with the second question. I could see some of you answering it. So I partially agree with 240 also, but the question I think is asking you for the distance between one place to the other. Okay. Not the total distance, just saying it. So as in there's a distance between two places, place one to place two. So you'll go from 1 to 2 and then coming back from 2 to 1. But the question is asking what's the distance between the two places. I think the question should have been a little bit more clearer. I would say find the distance between the two places. Right. So it's mistake from our side. I can assure you that the questions in GRE would be more accurate in terms of wording. So you don't have to worry about the ambiguity there. Okay, I think more or less most of you have posted the answers, but that mistakes that I see are also understood why they're happening. So let me solve the first one. First one is pretty easy and straightforward. I think everyone, I mean, both of them are easy. Uh, so it says a person travels the first 100 miles at a speed of 50 miles per hour and the next 200 miles at a speed of 25 miles per hour. So if you have been observing these questions, right, it's more or less breaking the journey into parts. Okay. So that is, this journey also is into two parts. What is the part one? And obviously the distance, speed, and time. These are the three things. They would give you two and ask you to find the other one and use it to solve the question, more or less in those lines. So let's look at this. Part one. What's the part one distance? Tell me, now help me out with this question while I'm asking. So in part one, what's the distance covered as per this question? Perfect, 100 miles. What's the speed with which he covered the 100 miles? It's there in the question, so it's good if you can just help me out. Yes, 50. And part two, cover 200 miles at a speed of 25 miles. Right, now time is again distance by speed. Right, so 100 by 50 is 2 hours. And 200 by 25 is 8 hours. 25 is 200. So it's asking you to do average speed, which is nothing but total distance. What's the total distance of the journey? 200 plus 100, 300 miles is the total distance. And what's the total time? 2 plus 8 is 10 hours. Perfect. So total distance by total time is your average speed, which is 300 by, which is 30 miles per hour. Perfect. I think everyone is clear with this now. And I see most of you getting the right answer right from the start, whoever have posted the answer. So I think we are good with this. So now I'll move to the second one. I'm just curious. I don't know how people got 750 as the answer. I'll just repeat it again. What was I communicating in terms of being alert in terms of the possible wrong answers, right? Is this that, see, the lowest speed a person has is 30 kilometers per hour and the highest is 120, right? And the total time is 5 hours. So even if I try to, travel 120 into 5, assuming the total back and forth is 5 hours, so 120 into 5 is 600 kilometers is the maximum distance a person can cover for the entire 5 hours, even with the top speed of 120. That is, if you understand, it is back and forth. That is, I go from here and then I come back. That is one way. It can be only 300 maximum. And the minimum is 30 into 5. 150 kilometers is the minimum back and forth. That means it must be 75 one way, right? 150 is total back and forth, as in this place to this place and this place to this place. So 75, 75, 150 are 300 and 300, 600. So that should be your sense. So the answer should be between 75 to 300. Okay. This must be somewhere in your head when you're solving. And if you get an answer beyond these limits, then you have to go back and check again. Okay. I hope it made sense, but let's solve this again. It's again two parts, right? So A to B is one part. Let's assume place A to place B, and then I have B to A back. Again, they gave us the hints. What are this? There is distance, speed, and time. They've given us speed. What is the speed? 30 kilometers per hour and 120 kilometers per hour. Now the question is not that easy like earlier one where they've given us some more information so that I can, straight away do simple arithmetic calculations. Here we have to do, what are the hints that I can apply here for distance? Tell me. There's a hint that I should use for distance. What is that? What should I write here, right? Can I do X and Y? Because I don't know the distance from A to B and B to A. So what is that hint that helps me to cut down a variable? Because more variables is more headache for us. So it's always easy if you can, deal with less variables. So exactly, because it's the same place, right? As they say, the distance from A to B is same as B to A. So I don't need to use one more variable. I call it same X. Okay. What about the time? So now time is distance by speed. So X by 30 and X by 120. Right? That is X by 30 hours and X by 120 hours. No, that's good. Now, what's the other hint that helps me to find out X and that will help me to solve the question? What's the left out hint in the question? Exactly. Right? The total time is 5 hours. So I just need to add this X by 30. This X by 120 is. Now, by chance, you thought assuming the distance in A and B with some value will get it a wrong answer. Why? I'm telling you, because they've given you additional information. The total time is 5 hours. I can't just assume some random distance in both the places. Okay. Like 240, 240, if I assume, let's assume I assume 240. Okay. So 240 by 30 is 8 and 240 by 120 is 2. 8 plus 2 is 10 hours, not 5 hours. So you can't just assume like that in these questions. So the way is only go with the variable and then just solve this. So how do I solve this? If denominator is LCM, 120 is the denominator. So 34s are, so 4x plus x. That's a 5x by 120 is equals to 5 hours. You just cancel it. So x is equals to. I hope everyone is clear with this. Can we move ahead? Or anyone needs anything that needs to be repeated a bit? Good. Okay. Right. So as I said, this is rate and work. Okay. Rate, time, and work. So I would say this concept is exactly like speed. Just that rate is nothing but speed. Just understand that. That's it. You just don't use speed of work. They rather call it the rate. Okay. A rate at which you work. What is the speed of your work? I can read 20 pages in an hour. I can run 10 kilometers per hour is speed. But similarly, I can read 20 pages in an hour is also a rate or a speed in these questions. Okay, so these are the typical old school time and work questions. But what you would see in GRE are more, you know, I would say real life funny incidents that they would take. Like 10 bakers can, make 100 cakes in 1 hour. How many bakers you need to make 200 cakes in 2 hours? Something on those lines. Okay, I think it's very straightforward question, but I'm just saying it. That's what they ask more or less. We'll see a couple of examples. But let's say, how do we do these questions? Okay, A does some work in 6 hours. So what is this work? I don't know. The question sometimes explain very clearly, but this is generic saying just some work. You imagine the work could be like building a wall, or could be about, writing a book or something. B does the same work in 5 hours. If both the persons work together, then in how many hours, can the same work be completed? Is the question. Okay, I'm sure the answer wouldn't be an integer here. I can clearly see it's going to be a fraction. But the underlying principle that you need to use for these questions is this amount of work done is rate into time, right? Like exactly like what we did here is something similar you have to apply here. Okay, let's use this approach that I generally follow. I know few people have their own approach to this question. There's no harm in it as long as you know what you're doing. Okay, see the questions with the work, right? Unlike the time, speed, and distance, what I generally observe is that sometimes you don't get an absolute hint on what is the work. What I mean by work is quantification of the work, not just the name of the work. Quantification of the work. What do I mean by that? Number for a work. See, in distance, I say I ran 20 kilometers. But here they just said A did work. That's it. What is this work? Right? I can't put in numbers because we are doing math. So we need numbers for this, right? Yes, you can assume the work to be X. That is one way to do it. I'll do that way first, then I'll show you the other ways. Okay, so let's say there is A. Okay, same formula we'll use, which is work, which is nothing but distance for us. Okay, then you have the speed, which is nothing but rate here, and then time. Okay, let's assume the work is nothing but X. Okay, and what is the time taken? 6 hours is what the time taken. So what is the speed of the person with which, at the rate of the person with which the work is done? Right? Speed is nothing but distance by time. So which is 6. Okay, so X by 6 would be this. Okay. Similarly, let's say there's a person B who is also doing the same work, which is X, and he will do in 5 hours. So what is the speed or the rate with which he will do the work? It will be X by 5. Perfect. Now, what is the question saying? If both of them work together. So that's a third scenario which I have, which is A and B are working together. A and B are working together to do what? The same work, which means the work will not change. It's still the same thing. Okay, I need to find the time. How much time will they take to complete it? So now when they work together, what is the speed of two of people together? It is just adding their individual speeds. That is, I am putting my hand, then A is doing his work and B is also adding his work. So that will be X by 6 plus because both of them are helping each other in this work. So this is going to be 11X by 30. Right, now I know the rate, I know the distance of the work. Now I need to know the time. So how do I do it? Same formula again, distance by speed. So distance by speed. It's going to get cancelled. It will be 30 by 11. It's going to be approximately I think one of you said, yeah, said it. Correct. 11 to the 22, 8, so 77. 2.7 hours is approximately the answer for this. What I would suggest, in these questions again, as I said, why can't I assume something else? Absolutely yes. Instead of X, which is a big pain for me to do all these fractions, again, like how I have shown earlier, use something which is LCM of the time 6 and 5, which can be 30, just for our ease. Let's say I would say 30 units is my work. There's no unit here, like kilometers. Even you can assume kilometers if you want, not a problem, just for the sake of your ease. Okay, kilometer hours, and this is kilometer per hour is your speed. Okay, so 30 by 6 hours is how much? It's going to be 5 kilometer per hour is my speed. Similarly, 30 by 5 is 6 kilometer per hour is my speed. So total work is 30 kilometers and total speed is 5 plus 6, 11 kilometers. So the answer is 30 by 11, which is what I got here, right? So you'll get to do exactly the same thing. There's no change except that you don't call them kilometers and all. You rather define just some work is what they talk about. But you have to apply the same concept. Rate is nothing but speed. Just keep in mind, rate means what is the speed of your work. I can do 2 pages in an hour. So that's 2 pages per hour, like kilometers per hour, right? And time is how much time? Minutes, hours, days. It could be anything, but yes. But make sure that the units are same. I cannot multiply. I can write 2 pages per hour into 2 days is the work I did. Now this is wrong. To find how many pages I can write in 2 days, what should I do? If the question says that A can write 2 pages per hour, and how many pages can he write in 2 days? So what should I do? This is wrong. So what should I do? I'm just repeating the question. The question, let's say, says A can write 2 pages in an hour. How many pages can he write in 2 days if he constantly write? Right? He'll not stop and he'll write it for 2 days consistently. What's the answer? Why is no one giving me the answer? Exactly. Right? So 2 days should not be used. Rather, you should use hours, which is 24 twos or 48 hours. So I'll write 2 pages every hour and I'll write for 48 hours. So 248, it is 96 pages. Perfect. Okay, so let's apply this. I think we have a couple of examples to solve and then we'll end the session. But so don't worry if it's still confusing for you. How you have picked up your average speed and speed concepts just a while ago. We'll also pick this up in next 10-15 minutes. Then we'll end the session. So I know it's almost 9:30. So we'll just take for another 5-10 minutes and then we'll wrap it up. 10 minutes, I think. Great. So let's try this question. If Joe can paint a house in 5 hours and Sam can paint the same house in 8 hours, so how long does it take them to do together? It's exactly same as what we did just here, right? So just give it a shot, do this table, the work, the speed and the time, and then you just figure it out. Okay, that's very precise. I mean, I know that maybe I'll just expand this discussion also because I know some people do this. So it's good to do, which is some people know that all you have to do is this and you'll get the answer. Okay, this thing I'll do 1/6 and 1/5. I add them, I get 30 by I think what 11/30, and I just start to do the reciprocal of it, which will give me 30 by 11. Some of you might have learned this approach. This is absolutely right in this question. I'll tell you it exactly is what I did. It just assumed the work to be 1 unit. So that it became 1/6, 1/5. You do 1/6 plus 1/5 is 11/30. And this is 1. So you do 1/11/30, which is what this is saying and this is saying. My only problem is this will work in such a simple and straightforward scenario. The moment you have slight complication added, you are screwed with just this blind approach is what I'm saying. But this is absolutely what you're doing here also, if by chance you have this liking to do it. But make sure you just understand it. That's it. I think more or less everyone has given the answer. As I said, I can say Joe and then Sam and then they are working together. That's the 3 scenarios, right? And what do we have? We have work, we have the rate, and we have the time. So what should I assume the work? Give me a suitable value to make it easy and simple for me. Anyone help me out with it? What can I assume the work? Perfect, right? 5 8s are 40. That's a simple and straightforward unit. It won't change because they're doing the same thing. Painting a house, painting the same house, and painting the same thing. So what's the time Joe took? 5 hours. And how much time did Sam take? 8 hours. Now it's asking together how much time they're taking. This is what I need to find. And now what's the rate with which Joe worked? Rate is nothing but work by time. So what's the rate with which Jay worked? What's the number? It's there, you can find from both of this, right? 40/5 is 8. Similarly, 40 by 8, which is 5. So together the speed will be Joe will paint 8 units every hour and S will paint 5 units. That's basically 13 units. So now this is the speed, this is the work. So the time is nothing but work by rate. So 40 by 13, which is 13 threes are 39, and then you will have a 0 there. I think again 30. Perfect. Right? 3.07 is the answer. So that's okay. Right, let's do this. This is now getting to 3 workers. Okay, 3 workers, each working alone, can paint a house in 4, 5, 6 days. So far, we have been dealing with only 2 people. It's just an extension of 3 people. And now, how long they take to work together? Simple and straightforward. Just do it quickly. We can wrap it and move it. Anyone has an answer? I don't think it will be an simple integer. Yeah, sounds fair. 1.62. Okay, so it's the same thing. I'm just going a little bit because I want to solve a couple more question types which are interesting. So let's not leave it. The same thing. You can watch it again if by chance you find it a bit hard. So worker 1, worker 2, worker 3 alone. Right. This is all of them together. These are the 4 scenarios, right? The same table again. So tell me what is better value to assume as a work? The work, rate, and time. Perfect. Right. LCM for 4, 5, 6, you can take 60. I can give you a, something like unit just for the sake of, our units, like how kilometers are there. So it's going to be the same work, 60 units. Imagine like putting all the bricks together, like our 60 walls you have to paint or something in a house, etc. So what is the time? 4 hours, 5 hours, sorry, days. No, sorry, my bad. And 6 days. So now it's asking together how many days they take. So now what's the rate with which W1 work? 60 by 4. That's 15 units per day. That means a worker 1 paints 15 units, 15 units, 15 units, 15 units for 4 days and completes 60. Similarly, worker 2 will do 12 units every day. In 5 days, he will do 60 units. Worker 3 can do 10 units every day and will take 6 days to do. So all of them working together is 15 plus 12 plus 10. Yeah, even 120 is fine. Don't worry. Even if you take that, you'll get the same answer. 15 plus 12 plus 10 is how much? 37. So the answer should be 60 by, it's approximately 1.6. 37, 137. So 23 to 30. So almost 6, 1.6 is correct. Right. And this is where you'll get the handout. Right. Come to the My Test Preparation in your dashboard once you log in. Then go to this GRE Comprehensive Live Classes. If you have enrolled, and then you will go to Quantitative Reasoning. Week 1 is what we are doing right now. So whatever the day 4 is what we are. So you'll find all the handouts. For the past days also you'll find them recordings and all. We did verbal last week. Reading comprehension you can do. So we'll do it again, the reading. Next week is again going to be verbal. So you can continue the classes. So doesn't matter when you've joined, we will complete all the concepts again and again. So you can attend and make sure you get all the concepts that you need for GRE. You can watch the recordings if you want. Anyways, after doing these things, we'll come back and start from scratch. So make sure you attend all the classes for next 2 months, and you will be doing all the 40 hours of course with us. That will be both verbal and quant that will complete. Okay, the Telegram link. I'm not actually having the access, so I'll just. Supriya, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm there. I'll share everything. Don't worry.
Right. So I'll drop off, guys. So thanks a lot. So we'll just take it over and wrap it up. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Guys, I will share the Telegram. I've shared the Telegram link in the chat box. Okay. Please join the group using a mobile phone. Otherwise, you won't be able to join. And yeah, I feel that is